Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to SK Technologies. So in this video, I will try to explain you about replication controller object. So in the previous sessions, we understood the very fundamental object which is pod, correct? So now we will see the replication controller. So what is this object? What are the functionalities of this object? Okay, and how to create it. So again, we are going to create it with help of the ML file only, manifest file only. Fine. So replication controller. So actually it is giving the high availability of your application. Fine. So how it will be giving means. So let's assume your application is running inside the container. On top of the container, pod is there. So after making some network configuration, so people are accessing your application. Okay. So network things and all, you as of now just forget about it. So later we will discuss. As of now, application. Let's assume your application is accessing by user end users. Okay. So which is running inside the pod. Suddenly, something happened to your pod, so it got crashed. Let's assume. Then how we can? So we need to investigate why it got down, and what is the reason behind that. You have to investigate. Thereafter, we have to plan for the resolution, isn't it? But meantime, okay. So meantime, definitely end users won't be accessing your applications, isn't it? So we cannot expect the issues and all, right? We cannot predict it, right? So that is the reason. So ensure that you have to provide the high availability of your applications. Okay, so high availability on your applications. So how we can achieve this means with help of this replication controllers only. Okay, so while defining this replication controller, so you can mention like replicas. So replicas in the sense the same set of application running with the another pod. Okay, so multiple pods are running in case if anything happened. Okay, so this is the main advantage of the orchestration tool. So if something went wrong, so immediately pod got crashed, then immediately within fraction of seconds, your replication controller, it will be, okay, so it will be creating the new containers, new pod. Okay, so that is the functionality of the replication controller. Very crucial object in the Kubernetes cluster. So there is replication set also. Okay, so there is one more uh, replica set. So short name of the replica set RS. So similar functionality, but there are some slight differences. So this is the enhanced version of the replication controller, you can say. So later we will see about the replica set. So in this video, I will try to create the replication controller, and we will try to kill that pod intentionally. Then we will observe. So how it will be creating with a new pod. So who will create and all, we will observe. Fine. So if you compare with the pod YAML file, so pod manifest file, so replication controller having some little more options, okay, in the ML language. So I will explain you. So it's also very simple. Anyhow, the high level syntax we learned, right? So let me go on. Yeah, these are my pod files, two containers, right? And I want to tell you guys. So in the last video, we are unable, after creating this, we are unable to access, we are unable to see the logs, right? So I have troubleshooted on it. So the reason behind it, so on, so respect to port, we need to enable from the worker node. So that is the reason. So let me show you. So I already logged in my Kubernetes cluster, kubectl get po. See, as of now, nothing running. Okay, so I'm, yeah, pod folder is there, right? Let me go inside the pod folder. Yes, pod 2. So kubectl apply -f pod 2, which means two containers running, right? Yes, created kubectl get po. Let it be. Yes, running. Now, very sorry. kubectl logs -f. What is the pod name? sktech-pod. So this is the pod name. But I want to see first container -c sktech container 1. Okay, so it is trying to reach your worker node because of that object which is you defined that is running on the worker node. So you have to go and enable. There is a port called 10258. Let it be. We will see. We will get one error. So there it is trying to reach your worker node. Okay. So via that port. So yeah, I think we got error. Yes. 10250. This is the port and this is the worker node, guys. So your master is trying to reach your worker node. So how do you know the worker node means? You can use this command kubectl getPaw -o wide. Okay. So 172.31 39216. See 39216 the same. So what you need to do is simply take this port number and enable from the worker. So this is my cluster. So here I'm having two servers, one is worker, one is master. So where I need to enable it, I need to enable from the worker node. So you know already how to enable this port. Security group name, then click on edit inbound rules, add rule. So here 10250. So with help of this port, what we will come to know. So we will come to know the connectivity between your master server and your worker nodes. That's it. Now let me go and execute same command kubectl logs -f. Okay, sktech-pod. I want to get from the container 1. So sktech-container 1. See, these are the parts. See, these are the logs every 5 seconds. That is what I have defined from here, right? This is the hello students means this is the first pod. Pod name is container 1. Fine. Now let me go and check the second pod. Hello, welcome to SKTech Technologies. Same, I will give the second container. See, this is the message. That's it. Fine. So you just go and enable the port, guys. 10250 port from worker node. Okay. Let me stop this. Okay. Now I will explain one more very useful option. So whenever you want to delete any object, so here I am delete sktech-pod. If you simply delete, if you simply execute this, it will take some time. Okay. So it cannot delete it forcefully. So if you want to delete it forcefully, you can use these options -force and -grace period equal to 0. That's it. See, immediately it will delete your objects, guys. If you use it, see, done. Okay. Now what I will do, I will write the replication controller manifest file. Then I will create a one respective folder here. Then we will see. Fine. So go to your Visual Studio. So create a file called rc.yml. Fine. So as usual, guys, high level language, API version, high level syntax, API version, kind and metadata. Okay. So metadata, then spec. Okay. So this is common for any manifest file. So here API version of your RC is V1 only and kind is replication controller. Okay, so here R should be capital letter and C also should be capital letter without space. Make sure, guys, some people are making mistakes. Definitely it will throw the syntax error. So here compared to your pod, so here we pod, we defined like API version kind metadata simple name of the pod. So here also name of the our replication controller. So just define name. What is sktech-rc? This is my replication controller name I want to define. Now until here same guys, how we did in the pod, the same. Now the specification. So here directly we are not giving the container details because the replication controller. So how it is working means it is top of your pod it is working. So let me explain in the MS world. So here let's assume this is worker node. Okay, so worker node. So here we are going to create the container, right? Finally our application running inside the container, isn't it? So this is my container. Fine. So this is my container. Inside my container my application. So where your container running? Your container is running inside the pod, isn't it? So inside the pod. Okay, so this is the pod. So your pod is running on top of your container. Fine. Now RC, the replication control, where it is running on top of your pod. This is your RC, replication controller. Fine. So this is the hierarchy, guys. In future also, later we are going to deploy deployment object. So the deployment will be running on top of your RS actually. So later we will see. So RC or RS both are running on top of your pod. Fine. So now the specification directly we are not defined the up container details directly. So here we have the options called replicas. Okay, and very important thing selectors. Okay, so selector, then templates. So these are the template. Okay, so these are the options, guys. So very important. So here I am telling you, right? So your RC is running on top of your pod. So there might be other different pods. Okay, so there might be a different parts. How it will recognize the respective pod means with the help of the label and selectors. Okay, so there is a important topic, label and selectors. Okay, so label and selectors, guys, very important thing. Selectors. Okay, so labels and selectors. Fine. So these are the with help of these labels and selectors only. So these are plays very crucial role in the Kubernetes cluster. So how your RC knows about your pod means with help of this label only. So let's assume you are creating one label here inside your pod. Okay. So I will tell you the same label you have to define here. Then with the help of the selectors we are communicating like I want to create a RC. Where you want to create RC? On top of this pod. So how it will recognize means with help of this label. Okay, so very important things, labels and selectors. So now let me finish this manifest file. So replicas, so this is only, so if you define any value here like 2, then it will go and create two replicas, two pods. Okay, but with the same setup, whatever your content, whatever your first pod having the same data, second pod also. Okay, but because of high availabilities, right? If one pod goes down, then second pod will assist the services in between the Kubernetes controllers. We discussed right in the architecture that controllers, replication controller, that will be creating the another pod immediately. That is also we will observe after creating. So selectors. So how do you selector means? First you need to define the label. Where you need to define the label means you need to define the label in the pod level. So later I will explain this part. So first I will go and define the pods. So how to define the pod means we already know. So this is the way to define the pod, right? So this is the way. So here you can go with a single. So here no again no need to define the API version and kind because internally the RC will decide. Okay, but you have to define only from the metadata and spec. That's it. Okay, so simply copy this metadata and spec. Okay, so here under templates, so again you have to maintain indentations and like this. So make sure guys, better I will write without copy. So make sure here metadata, then spec you need to define. So these are related to your pod. So under metadata, what we have defined, name of the pod like sktech pod, sktech pod. Okay, so this is the name of your pod. Then specification. Again, what is specification? Containers, right? Containers. So what is the name of the container? sktech hyphen container one, or you just container. Okay, then image. Okay, you can use the same image ubuntu, and you can define command also because if nothing running it will be making issues, right? So that's why you can define command also. Let me copy this command. Okay, the same command I'm giving copying. That's it. That's it, guys. So your this is the uh, definition of your pod under the template option. Okay, so on the template option, then selectors. Now here interesting thing. So now how to define the label and selectors means, so in the pod metadata, so here you need to define the labels. You can give any key and value pair, guys. So like app colon backend. So this is the label. So backend is the label. It is lying on this app keyword. So now how we need to call this means you need to call from the selectors. So here you just selectors with the key name and value. Then your replication controller, it will go and checks this label from your pod. Then it will go and create on top of this pod. That's it. So this is the logic, guys. Fine. So now let me take this. So that's it. This is the way you have to write your manifest file of the cube replication controller. Then you can go and create. Inside here, let me create a directory called RC. So let me move inside. So here I will create a file called rc.yml. Fine. Save this. Now, as usual, guys, commands and all are similar for all objects. You can go with kubectl apply -f, then rc.yml. Let us see. See, without any errors. If it is created means there is no more errors in your manifest file. You can go and observe it. You can go and observe. Definitely there are two parts this time. Get to pod. See, this is the name sktech rc and this is the name. But I think the name, the system name it's taken. Okay. So just ignore that. But anyhow, there are two parts. See, both are one out of one. It means one container, one pod. So two parts. This is one part, this is another part. That's it. Now, how do you display the RC means? Same command, get RC. That's it. See, this is the RC name, what we have defined. And how many? Two replicas. Then how many present? How many available? Current two. Out of two, two are running, ready. Okay. So this is the way. Now, if you want to see, sometimes load will be high, right? In specific times like evenings, especially in the Indian working time, working hours, evening, people are making so many transactions. Let's assume at the time, specific time, load will be high. So you want to scale up this. What you need to do? There are HADAC commands also. kubectl scale. Okay. Kubectl scale replicas equal to that number. Okay, then the replication name means then it will let me try, but don't go with the other commands. So anytime if you want to make any changes, the recommendations are go with manifest files and apply it. That's it. Now let me make it 4, guys. Then you will come to know 4. Okay, even ADA commands also you can increase, not an issue. Okay, so cat rc, but this is the recommendation because you might having all the changes, right? So these files all are we are not keeping inside the servers. We are keeping all this in the GitHub. So there, if you make any changes, so we should have the controlling on the changes. We have the tracking of the changes, right? So that's the reason. Fine. Now let me apply kubectl apply -f rc. So this time configured. See configured because it's already created, but something changed. Now you can go and check the kubectl getpo. See this time 4 parts because I changed the value in the replicas. See 4. That's the reason. Now we will validate the behavior of the Kubernetes. So intentionally I am trying to delete this pod. Okay. So kubectl get kubectl delete pod name. Okay. So -force -grace period equal to 0. Let's see. Okay, successfully it is deleted. Now let's the pop. See, this got deleted. Then immediately 3 seconds ago, this pod got created. Okay, so that's what. See, let me delete the 3 minutes one. This container, this pod is there, right? Let me delete it. The same command I will apply. Okay, then immediately I will display. See, 3 minutes one gone. See, 1 second ago. See how fast it is creating. It is in the container creating state. Now it's created. Okay, see, within fraction of seconds, your container will be creating by Kubernetes cluster. So, respective components. Okay, the replication controller, what it will do, it will always monitor and ensure that how many replicas you defined, that much replicas should be up and running. That is the duty of the replication controller. See, that's it, guys. So this is the way you have to write it, but here labels and selectors are plays crucial role. Okay, so that's it, guys. So thanks for watching. So in the same way, replica set also, but in future you will come to know the difference between replication controller and replica set. Okay, anyhow, in the next video I will try to write the replication set manifest file and will create, then we will see. Okay, thank you, guys.